that we just read tells us that Jesus wants something for us. He wants something for his disciples. Jesus wants us to have rich soil. Before you plan a trip to Home Depot, you need to look deeper to see what he means. Jesus wants the rich soil of a docile heart. Docile means here quiet or receptive. And let me say right off the bat, it's difficult for us to have docile hearts. It's difficult for us to cultivate this rich soil of a docile heart. It's difficult because we're easily distracted. And also because we like our distractions. And people have picked up on that. So the world offers us 1,000,001 ways for us to be distracted, have a distracted heart. The problem is we need to have docile hearts as disciples. We need to be able to hear the word, to receive it, and to be able to bear good fruit. And this is so important that Jesus gives us this parable today. The soil that we choose, because it doesn't just happen to us. The soil is the soil that we choose. And we can choose the soil of distraction or the soil of docility. And Jesus, in this parable, he shows us that there's different types of soil. And that the soil, again, represents the heart. It's one of the longer parables Jesus has, but to make it simple, the sower is Jesus. The sower is somebody who scatters seeds. And what do they want? The sower wants plants. So they start the process. They scatter the seed. The seed here is the Word of God. And the soil is the heart. Jesus quotes Isaiah. Isaiah talks about the Word being received into the hearts of the people of the Old Covenant. And Jesus speaks about the heart. And saints, including Albert the Great, have talked about how the soil would represent your heart, my heart. So it's important for us to be disciples who are docile, who choose the right soil. And the different soils that Jesus gives, he starts by saying, the seed was scattered, and it went on the path. But then the birds came and ate it up, and he comments. Jesus actually explains what that means. He says the birds are evil spirits. It's the devil, the evil one, who takes away what the sower, Jesus, has sown in our hearts. That can actually happen to us in our spiritual lives. Second one, so he gives 4. The first 3, failures. The fourth one is what we're looking for. That's that docility. So the first one's the path, the devil steals. The second one is the rocky ground, and it had little soil. It looks promising. This is what I think is the biggest temptation for us, is distraction. Because when we're distracted, whatever we go to that gives us like a promised rest, makes us think, I'll be more receptive once I'm refreshed. But if I binge on Netflix for 5 hours and I'm really refreshed, I'm really docile, I'll probably feel numb. And so that second one, the rocky ground, it had little soil, it sprang up, it was promising, hey, here comes the plant. But the soil was not deep. And that's what gets so hard to it. The soil was not deep, it was shallow soil. It wasn't able to spring up. The plant wasn't able to grow. The disciple wasn't able to grow. And this is so important. That's why Jesus says we need to choose the right soil. We need to choose this fourth option. And the third option is thorns. I skipped it. The third option is the seed that fell among thorns. And he gives this image of thorns growing up and choking it up. And he says that's the worldly anxiety and the lures of riches, the temptations that we have. I think for many of us, those temptations are certainly there, and the enemy certainly at work, like in the first option. But that second one, the distraction, it looks so promising. There is soil there. It does spring up, but it withers because it's not able to take root. The soil is shallow. Where do we get the rich soil? Because we have to decide, which soil am I going to have? What kind of heart am I going to have? So what kind of heart do I have right now? Like, that's the question when we read this parable. And it's not one and done, it's a daily battle. He says, the seed that fell on rich soil, that produced fruit. And that's the goal. And this is so important. That's why Jesus says, again, he's the sower. So the seed can make a plant. The seed of the word can make a disciple. And it can even form a saint. That's how important this is. Okay, so how do we do it? If we don't have rich soil right now, do we just despair? No. We can get, in a sense, a soil change. I would say to get that soil of our heart changed from distraction to docility, we have to make a change. I would say an easier way to do it, instead of we think, okay, I just have to cut out all screens, no more iPhone, no more TV, no more radio, I'm just going to be a monk. That's a great calling, but that's not everyone's calling, and the Lord doesn't expect that from every single one of us. But He does expect you and I to choose the rich soil. And I want to share with you the easiest way to do that, because I've been able to do that. For me, that's a miracle. Go to the Queen of Docility, our Mother, the Blessed Virgin Mary. The Lord knows what it means to do things. She knows what rich soil can do because she had that docility. And two, she provides it for her children. She delights in providing that rich soil for you and me. She sees that we want to be disciples and she gets excited. She wants her children to follow Jesus. And so she provides that soil for us, if only we're willing to go to her. And the way that she provides it is by means of the rosary. And before you roll your eyes, the rosary, I promise you, will cultivate that rich soil because of Our Lady's help. And the rosary is a meditation on the Word of God. It's a meditation on the Word, so that already makes sense. But when we have the help of the Queen of Docility, everything changes. And again, she wants to help her children. You might be thinking, yeah, but I'm the exception. She'll help anybody, but she's not going to help me. I got way too much going on. I'm way too busy. My relationships, my work. Or you know what? Right now, I just really need a season of this TV show. That's what I need. Again, you don't have to be a monk. Don't overwhelm yourself. That can be a way that tempts us, is the extremes. These things can be good in our lives. We need to be willing to go to her and allow her to lead us. So praying the rosary, I'll say my own testimony is I went from really distracted soil to docile soil. And for me, that was a miracle because I'm somebody who loves distractions. You name it. TV shows, movies, screens, my phone, even other people, the busyness of the day. And for me, I would say, I would sum up my main distraction was music, apps, and podcasts. But I'll sum it up with radio. Because for me, my radio was always in my car. I always had noise. I heard other people would pray and drive, which, if you do that, be careful. But with the radio, that is what was my constant distraction. I was bombarded with noise, and my soul became shallow. So, one day I decided, you know what? Instead of the radio, I'm going to pick up a rosary. So I made a change. It was a bit of a soil change. I didn't realize that's what was going to happen. And the way it happened, I think God had something to do with it because the day I decided to pray the rosary, I actually went into my car to go bring up the radio out of habit. It's a bad habit. It's done too much. And immediately my radio was completely fried and broke. And I thought, okay, you got my attention. Maybe I should pray. I blame it on an act of God, but really, going from the radio to the rosary, I noticed I had an 18-minute drive to work. And I regret to say, this was only a few years ago, because after 4.5 years of seminary, periods of happy docile soil, but again, it's a daily battle. And I got into a season of distractedness. 18 minutes on the way to work, 18 minutes on the way back. It's a perfect time for rosary. I prayed a rosary on the way there, I prayed a rosary on the way back, and I kid you not, everything changed. That soil changed. It was able to retain more, she was able to receive the seed of the word. When I would read my Bible, the words would pop off the page. I would get it, and I'd be able to live it more. And I was excited to live more. I would find myself praying more, going to Mass, total game changer. I was able to go to Mass and actually enter in with a greater, full, conscious, active participation. It's an invitation today for us, the parable of the sower. Jesus wants us to have the rich soil of docile hearts. So if you need a soil change, exchange the radio, whatever the radio is in your life. Exchange the radio for the rosary. Go to the Queen of Docility and receive the rich soil of a docile heart.